Why are you so expensive? Have you been wondering why eggs are so expensive? I was at the grocery store getting my groceries this week and I got to the egg section and it was pretty empty. There was only one brand left and that was the store brand, and the price for those eggs was $14.99. Now I love eggs, so I went and I grabbed those eggs and I'm willing to pay the price for them because they're a good source of protein and I enjoy them as part of my diet. And it's currently winter, so my backyard chickens are taking their winter break and I'm getting very few eggs at this point. Now a man came up beside me, saw the egg prices and looked at me and said, "Is that really the price of the eggs?" And I said, "Yeah, $14.99 for the eggs." And he said, "Why is it so expensive?" "I'm not buying that." I said, "Well, I do have backyard chickens, so I can give you my perspective as to why the prices are increased." And to my surprise, he was actually interested and wanted to chat in the middle of the grocery store aisle about the rising egg prices. So I thought maybe he's not the only one. So I'm just gonna put this out there on the price of eggs. So let's talk about the factors that are driving up prices of eggs, both for backyard chicken farmers as well as for commercial poultry farmers. So whether you're buying grocery store eggs or you're buying farm fresh eggs, you're likely going to see a higher cost than what you're used to paying. Costs for eggs on average over the course of 2022 have gone up about 50%. So that's a big increase. So you may have heard talks about supply and demand problems, inflation, conspiracies about feed. So first, let's talk about just what I'm seeing with my backyard flock. So I pulled out my financial records for my farm. I do try to keep meticulous notes for the spending of my farm. So I looked at things that I purchased for my flock in December of 2021 and into early January of 2022 to compare that to the prices that I'm currently paying in like January, February of 2023. And of course I typed it up nice for you and did a full breakdown on the increasing prices. Okay, so let's go over that. So I just looked at basic supplies that I get for my chickens. So we're looking at the price jump over 13 to 14 months approximately. So for black oil sunflower seeds, which my chickens love, so I do provide it for them, that increased $20. So that was a big jump from $24.99 to $44.99. And then you look at whole corn. The whole corn prices jumped from $12.99 for a bag up to $15.99 for a bag. So that was a $3 jump. And then looking at whole oats, those were $15.99 and those jumped to $20.49. So it was an increase of $4.50. So these three items make up the scratch that I put together for my chickens and provide that for them. They really enjoy it. And so that's something that I like to provide. However, the cost is going up. $27.50 increase just in the scratch alone that I make for them. Ouch. I do offer my chicken supplements. I offer them poultry grit, which I was paying $9.99 for a year ago. Now I'm paying $11.99. So $2 additional. The organic layer pellets that I feed my chickens, those a year ago were $29.99 and they are now $30.99 when you can get them. So that's the issue, is supply and demand. I am not always able to get that particular brand. I've had a lot of difficulty with it and I've had to switch my flock to different brands to tide them over. And that, in my opinion, has hindered their egg laying to where they've had less eggs this fall and into winter than I've seen in previous years. Okay, so then we look at shavings. So shavings is the litter that I use in my chicken coop to provide bedding. The shavings were $6.99 over a year ago, and they're now $7.35. So we're looking at a 36-cent increase, which is not a lot, but one bag of bedding certainly does not suffice for the size of my chicken coop. So that's just looking at one bag. So that 36 cents, you're looking to multiply that by a couple extra bags there. Okay, so oyster shells is the other supplement I give my chickens. That was $5.99 a year ago. It is now $7.49. So that went up $1.50. For these general supplies for my chickens, I was paying $106.93 over a year ago. Now I am paying $139.26 currently. So it did increase by $32.36. So that's approximately a 23% increase. So I have to budget that I'm spending an additional $32.36. Some of these items need to be replaced every 2 weeks, some every month, some every 3 to 4 months. So it definitely varies there. And then keep in mind that egg prices have doubled in price. And we're talking here about a 23% increase for my backyard farm. However, that percent increase, I'm not including all the other factors that go into backyard chicken keeping. So any sort of infrastructure where you're using wood prices have gone up. So if you need to do any projects or do any repairs to your chicken coops, those are going to be more costly. Any products that you have to replace on your farm, like I had to recently replace my poultry waterers, all of those things have gone up in price. So you need to also think about how that factors in. But overall, yes, there has been an increase in costs for myself as a small backyard chicken farmer. However, the costs for a commercial poultry farm I could see as being significantly more because they're doing it on a much larger scale and they have to factor in shipping, transporting, fuel costs because they need to get their eggs to the grocery store. And then another factor that has been detrimental to some poultry farms in the United States this past year has been highly pathogenic avian influenza. So that has wiped out millions of poultry in the United States over the past year and also has caused supply and demand issues as well. So who knows if prices will continue to go up or come back down. But when it comes to the cost of the egg, it just all depends on how much it costs to actually produce this egg. Now, if you're curious about the difference between farm fresh eggs and grocery store eggs, you should check out my next video where I talk about the differences between the two. And if these egg shortages are inspiring you to perhaps get your own backyard chickens, that is fantastic. I have a chicken care playlist that you should check out and learn all about taking care of backyard chickens. And if you haven't started your farm yet, what are you waiting for? Get your farm on.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want a farm? A wicked awesome farm? Watch this channel to learn what to do. We love to farm and we'll show you. Yeah.